Most Amazon sellers get stuck at the 5 or 10k per month mark, and that's not because the opportunity is dried up. Amazon did £33 billion in the UK last year alone. The reason why they get stuck and fail is because of a set handful of things which I'm going to be going over in this video. I'm Adam Pearson. I've been selling on Amazon for over 6 years now, and we do consistently over £275,000 a month on average. I have a warehouse, I have 5 members of staff, I've got 5 brands on the Amazon platform, so you're in good hands here. And I've also helped over 50 people with their Amazon business as well. I can tell you right now, the people which get stuck at 3k, 5k, 10k, even 20k per month, it isn't bad luck. It's a handful of very fixable problems. And in this video, I'm gonna be breaking them down. Also, if you're interested in finding out even more, I'm running a completely free workshop on the 26th of June. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Number one reason is that they picked the wrong product. Most people pick their products, right, based on their gut feeling. And that is honestly the stupidest thing ever. Sure, it can be good to go for things which you do like personally. However, sure, it can be okay in certain instances to go for things which you do like personally, because why not start with that? However, you cannot always make money from your passion, okay? And when I say they pick the wrong products as well, they do the wrong validation. They're not validating it properly. They're just going, oh, that's selling there on Amazon. There's hundreds of people selling it, so it must be able to sell for me. Yeah, sure, it could probably sell for you if you had tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds to compete with all the super big brands which are competing within there. So you need to be thinking, what products can I actually source? What products can I actually sell and compete with on a reasonable level, okay? You're not gonna be going right to the bottom to the point where there's hardly any competition, but also hardly any demand. You wanna be finding a perfect middle ground. You see, most people pick one of the products which they think they have a good feeling about. They send 500 units in and then they wonder, oh, my PPC is not performing. Oh, my product's not moving. My PPC is super expensive. The A cost is super high. How do I bring it down? Now, almost half of the time, at least half of the time when people come to me with this situation, it's literally not particularly fixable. Unless you have hundreds of thousands of pounds, you can afford to actually sell things at a loss or break even for a short while to gain market share. A lot of you aren't in that situation. A lot of you probably only have like 3, 4, 5, 10 grand to spare, okay? And you want to make that count. You want to double that 5 grand which you spend on inventory on your first shipment. You don't want to break even ideally. So first of all, have that in mind. You need to be validating your product, and you also need to spend time looking at certain data points to know if this is a good product to go ahead with or not. So that's the first one. Now, number 2 is having a poorly built Amazon listing, okay? Now, you could combine a load of these, and a lot of people do. They combine a load of these together, all these bad habits and bad things, and that's why they literally are at ground zero and not making any money, okay? So the number 2 is the listing side of things, okay? You need to spend a lot of time doing this, because a bad listing on Amazon is literally invisible to everybody. No matter how good your product is, your product may solve the best problem in the world. Your product may be so convenient. Your product may be at such an amazing price, but if your listing is dog shit and you have one image and hardly any keywords in there, what are you going to do? You got to be thinking Amazon is a search-driven platform, okay? People are searching things into the Amazon search bar to actually have intent to buy something, okay? So for example, this is I think USB-C adapter, right, for SD cards. You know, I would be typing in USB-C adapter for SD cards probably to actually buy this product, and I'm pretty sure that's what I typed in to buy this product specifically. And if you don't have that in your title, which believe it or not, people do this, and you can go on softwares, you can see what these keywords are and what people are searching for the most, and you'd want to be having that in your listing, obviously, right? Because realistically, if this was sold on Amazon and it just said adapter for SD cards, but it didn't say USB-C adapter for SD cards, then it's going to get significantly less visibility, significantly less eyeballs, significantly less sales, and you get the point, right? Most people DIY the listing, let's be honest. They just whack up a few bullet points, they whack up a title without really much due diligence, without much competitor research, without using software, there. The best thing they probably do is probably use a little bit of AI and be like, this is my product, create me a product description, bullet points and title for it, and then they go from there with like no idea what else needs to be going on. And I haven't even spoke about the images here. Again, you need to be having solid images, which again further sell your product, and that is even more important than the actual copy and the words itself within the listing, because let's be honest, we look with these bad boys, don't we? These are eyes. We don't read things. Personally, I don't like to read things, and I think a lot of people are very similar. Number 3 is running ads with no freaking idea what they're doing, right? A lot of people, they're just like, oh, I'm gonna run an auto campaign, or I'm gonna run a broad campaign, and they just set it and forget, and they're like, oh, my ACOS is 30%, 40%, it's not performing, it's not profitable, and then they're like, and then they come to me and be like, oh, I don't know what's going on, I'm not profitable with my ads. And there are several reasons for this, okay? You need a strategy behind your ads. We have a whole advertiser section in our program which we teach our clients, and it is super important, even if it's just the basics, okay? Realistically, you need a proper structure, you need a proper strategy, you need proper naming conventions, so you need to actually be able to name them properly so you can keep track of them easily, and you need to be analyzing it and tweaking it from there. And like, for example, just negating keywords, as simple as it is, you can even do that before you create a campaign. Like, for example, if I'm selling a black phone case, I might just want to negate the word white, negate the words yellow, negate the word green, because I don't want my phone case to show up when people are actively searching for green phone case. I wouldn't want my black one to come up. So it's kind of like stripping it really down and using as much common sense as possible here. And I also do think a lot of people aren't that patient too, because like people will analyze their ads after 3 or 4 days, when realistically with Amazon, you have to wait 10 to 14 days approximately for your ads. It does take a while to get your data back from Amazon, so you need to really be patient. And I do get it, right? The first few days it's gonna be like, oh fuck, these ads aren't performing, it doesn't look good, I'm gonna switch them off. Believe me, I've been there and I've done that. I've been there and I've had ads on for 3 or 4 days and be like, what is that ACOS? How much have I spent? Jeez, that's not profitable. And then went ahead and turned it off. But there's been some occasions where I've been completely patient, waited, and that ACOS and that spend gradually got better and it gradually became profitable, okay? You gotta realize Amazon's learning about your product and they're just analyzing things from there, right? They don't know from day one that, oh, this is great, this is not great, this keyword's good and you're gonna be profitable on this keyword or not. They're just gonna spend, and then they will see what's working, and you'll be able to see what's working, and you'll be able to focus on that accordingly. Number 4, biggest thing that people will struggle with is cash flow. Now, it doesn't really matter what strategy you are doing, whether it's arbitrage, wholesale, private label. Like personally, we do private label, and if you're watching the channel, you're probably interested in private label, but cash flow is a bitch, man, a bitch. You gotta think from the point of sale to Amazon giving you money, it does take a while, right? I think it's DD14 or something that they call it, right? After the product's been delivered, it needs to be like 14 days or something like this. Now, with new sellers not having a lot of capital, it can really be a struggle, right? A few ways on how I sort of accelerated my growth was just doing things on the side. So I got a few loans as well. I actually used credit cards and stuff as well, which really did help. But honestly, the last thing you want to do when you're selling anything is really go out of stock, as it's literally like starting all over again. Imagine that you've spent 2-3 months building your listing, sales are flowing, things are going very well, but then you have a stock out and you can't restock your product because you didn't have the funds for it, okay? Then your product's gonna sell out, your BSR is gonna skyrocket. When your BSR goes up, it means it's bad. I know it sounds a bit weird if you're new to Amazon, but like if your bestseller ranking goes up, aka goes to 50,000 instead of 4,000, then your sales are gonna plummet when you're back in stock, and you're gonna have to start all over again, do your advertising all over again. And I tell you, when you've got the momentum, it's great, but when you lose it, it's not good, and it is actually very hard to get it back, okay? So what can you do? You can get the credit cards, the loans, you can do your daily payouts on Amazon, etc. If you want any help with any of it, DM me on Instagram, I'll see if I can help you, okay? Number 5 biggest mistake, and this may be for people which are actually doing 10 or 20K per month on like the slightly higher end of what I said at the start of this video, right? You may be getting through some of the issues which I've already spoke about, and you may be pretty clued up, but you may not know about other platforms, okay? You may not be selling on TikTok, Temu, or anything like this, or even Shopify, okay? It's very important to diversify your stuff, because let's be honest, like doing private label is the safest way of doing Amazon on Amazon FBA, okay? The least amount of chance that you're gonna get banned and stuff like this, because it's just the best business model, right? But at the end of the day, if you still got all your eggs in one basket, God forbid, like it could happen, your account just gets banned randomly for whatever reason, whether it's just a stupid verification issue, which does happen on Amazon. If you are making the same amount on TikTok, you would obviously be bothered about it, but you would be like, oh, I'm so glad I've got TikTok as 50% of my revenue as well. We started diversifying on TikTok about 18 months ago, and it's going pretty well. We're doing about 30 to 40K in revenue a month on TikTok. Amazon's still a big powerhouse, of course. It makes up 70% of our revenue approximately, but like still, it's very, very good that we're diversifying and stuff and that we can pay bills with that income. And it's literally all just from the same product. There's literally a completely different market here on TikTok, and the way you sell things is completely different. Like very, very interesting. You use affiliates, you're doing things on your main page, you're creating videos instead of people searching in the product. It's actually, you're focusing on how can I get this like to show up on someone's For You page. It's very, very interesting, very insightful, and something I would definitely recommend. And number 6, the biggest problem that they have as well is they think they can do it alone, right? I can tell you right now, I spent over £50,000 on mentorships, and about 30,000 of that being on like e-commerce related stuff. And this isn't like a mindset lecture or anything like that, right? But like everyone you ever speak to which is successful, ask them if they had a mentor or they had someone to help them in the past. And pretty much 99% of them will be like, I have a current mentor which I've spent X amount of money on it. Honestly, the amount of money that I've saved compared to how much money I've spent has been ridiculous. The amount of that I've kind of like fast-tracked my way to success has been amazing. And just having that somebody to fall back on, someone to rely on, someone to message whenever that you are stuck, someone which is 10 times more ahead of you, is just phenomenal. Because honestly, I've made over £100,000 in mistakes even with the mentors, and like half of them mistakes would have been mitigated if I had a mentor at the time, because there's obviously been times where I haven't had mentors and stuff. I've not had one 100% of the time. At the end of the day, every mistake costs you time, it costs you money and stress. And the people stuck at 5 or 10 or 20K per month, which have done it through YouTube videos and stuff, you do plateau, and you plateau there for a reason, because you just don't have the knowledge. Sure, you can bounce ideas off Claude and ChatGPT and Manus and stuff like this all day long, but like at the end of the day, these AI tools haven't been through, for example, what I've been through and what other people have been through. Sure, it's great for certain things, like maybe helping you build the listings, maybe helping you with some imagery and stuff, but at the same time, if you don't have the knowledge on how to program that for specifically that use case, it is pretty much useless to you at the moment, because the sort of advice it will give you on product research, on improving the product and stuff, is quite generic, and it does need some level of human input. They're the most common mistakes that people make. I think there was like 6 there. But look, I'm going to be running a completely free workshop at the end of this month on the 26th of June at 7 p.m. I'm going to be covering how to find winning products fast, how to build a listing which crushes competition and steals sales from them, and how to diversify yourself not just on Amazon but also on TikTok Shop as well. So of course that you're not one ban away from disaster. So if any of this resonated with you and you're interested in learning what I just spoke about, like I said, June 26th, 7 p.m. It's on a Friday evening. Drop me a DM down below. So you'll see my Instagram link just down below. Go over to that, click the link, and just type the word workshop. Send me the word workshop on Instagram, and we will get you registered and get you manually in. But without any further ado, if you want any like mentorship or anything, or you want any help from me, again, just book in a call. The link's down below too. But yeah, thank you very much. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. See you later.